War used to be simple to see. You could hear the drums, watch the soldiers march, smell the smoke rising from the battlefield. The enemy stood in front of you, weapons raised, banners high. The conflict was brutal, but at least it was honest. Today, things are different. The battlefield has not disappeared, it has shifted. It now hides in the glow of your phone screen, in the endless scroll of social feeds, in the quiet algorithms that decide what you see and what you never will. Most people don't recognize it. They laugh at memes, they argue in comment sections, they share stories without thinking. To them, it feels harmless, even trivial. But look closer. That harmless tweet? It may have been seeded to divide. That viral video? It may have been engineered to shape your outrage. That trending hashtag? It may not even be real, just the coordinated march of digital soldiers you cannot see. What looks like entertainment is in truth a theater of war. In this war, bullets are replaced with words. Cannons are replaced with rumors. Empires are toppled not by armies but by reputations destroyed in a single night. The ones who win are not necessarily the smartest or the strongest, but those who understand perception. Those who recognize that in the digital age, reality itself bends to the narrative with the most reach, the sharpest edge, the loudest echo. Here lies the danger. If you walk into this war with the mindset of the ordinary man, trusting, careless, naive, you have already lost. You will give away your attention to those who know how to weaponize it. You will expose your emotions to those who know how to twist them. You will surrender your reputation to those who know how to assassinate it with precision. This is why Machiavelli still matters. Centuries before the internet, he wrote of rulers who rose and fell not because of truth, but because of perception. Not because of morality, but because of strategy. His world was one of courts, castles, and conspiracies, but strip away the costumes, and it is no different from ours. Today's digital arena is just the same game, with faster weapons. The faces may be anonymous, the attacks invisible, but the essence remains unchanged. Power belongs to those who understand how to seize it and protect it. So, if you want to survive, if you want to rise, you cannot afford the luxury of innocence. You must see every post, every trend, every whisper for what it is, a potential move in a battle for influence. And you must arm yourself, not with hope or sentiment, but with strategy, with realism, with the mindset Machiavelli gave us long ago. This is not just about defending yourself. It is about conquering the chaos, about stepping into the arena of digital warfare with eyes open, unshaken, and ready to play the game on your terms. This is where our journey begins. Every war has consequences. In the old world, if you lost the battle, your kingdom fell. Your people were enslaved, your banners torn down, your history rewritten by the victor. Digital warfare is no different, except the fall is quieter, and often it is permanent. Consider this. In the digital age, your reputation is your fortress. It is your shield, your castle walls, your currency of survival. Yet unlike stone and mortar, reputation can vanish overnight. A single wave of accusations, a swarm of coordinated outrage, a rumor repeated often enough. It can reduce years of work, trust, and credibility into ashes within hours. That is the first stake, the fragility of your name. If you do not learn to defend it, you will be erased before you even realize the attack has begun. The second stake is influence. Influence has always been the true measure of power. Kings held it over subjects, generals over armies, priests over the faithful. Today, influence is measured in followers, shares, likes, and the reach of your words. But here lies the trap. Influence gained naively is influence easily stolen. If you build your presence without Machiavellian caution, if you mistake popularity for security, you hand over your weapons to those who know how to wield them better. In digital warfare, influence is not simply earned. It is captured, guarded, and sometimes stolen through deception. The third stake is truth itself. In the age of endless information, truth has become malleable. A skilled manipulator can bury facts under layers of narrative. They can make the guilty appear innocent, and the innocent appear guilty, simply by controlling the flow of attention. If you cling to the idea that the truth will protect you, you are already marked for defeat. The truth does not rise by itself. It must be carried, weaponized, framed, and broadcast with cunning, or else it will be drowned beneath a tide of more seductive lies. And then there is survival. Digital warfare is not limited to leaders, influencers, or public figures. It swallows ordinary people too. The wrong opinion posted at the wrong time can summon digital mobs. A joke made years ago can be unearthed and turned into a noose. Silence, too, carries risk, because if you vanish too long from the public conversation, you may return to find that you no longer exist in the minds of others. To remain relevant, you must participate. To participate, you must navigate danger. Survival, then, is not passive. It is an active game of positioning, timing, and adaptation. The stakes extend beyond the individual. Entire nations rise or collapse in the realm of digital warfare. Elections are swayed, economies destabilized, conflicts ignited, not by bombs, but by stories crafted and unleashed into the bloodstream of the internet. A country that cannot defend its narrative is a country whose sovereignty is fragile. The same is true for you. If you cannot defend your narrative, who you are, what you stand for, why you matter, you will be defined by others, and their version will crush you. But perhaps the most dangerous stake is psychological. Digital warfare does not just attack your reputation or your influence. It attacks your mind. It exploits your instincts for validation, your craving for attention, your fear of rejection. It trains you to respond, to react, to conform. It keeps you addicted to the battlefield until you no longer recognize you are a soldier in a war you did not choose. And this is where the Machiavellian mindset becomes essential. Because without it, you will not even realize you are being manipulated. You will mistake obedience for choice, weakness for virtue, and destruction for justice. So, let us be clear, the stakes of digital warfare are total. Lose, and you lose your voice, your reputation, your influence, and perhaps even your sanity. Win, and you do more than survive. You rise above the chaos, shaping it, bending it, commanding it to serve your purpose. This is why you cannot approach the digital world with the innocence of a bystander. You cannot afford to be passive. You must see the battlefield for what it is and prepare yourself accordingly. Because in this war, ignorance is not just weakness, it is suicide. And so, the question becomes, how do you fight? How do you play the game without being consumed by it? How do you turn information from a weapon used against you into a weapon you wield with precision? The answer lies in the next stage of our journey, understanding the first principle of digital warfare. Information is power, and it is always a weapon. The nature of information in warfare. In every age of human conflict, the most decisive weapon has not been the sword or the spear, but the story. The armies that march may determine the outcome of a battle, but it is the narrative that determines the meaning of the battle. It is not enough to win with force. You must also win with perception. For centuries, kings and generals understood this truth, but today it has reached its final form. In the digital age, perception is not just important, it is everything. Information is no longer a neutral flow of facts. It is engineered, sharpened, and weaponized. Every headline, every tweet, every viral clip is designed to make you feel something, to push you toward outrage, fear, loyalty, or hatred. The weapon is not the information itself, but the effect it has on your mind. And just like a sword, it can wound, it can kill, or it can defend, depending on whose hand wields it. Machiavelli warned that appearances often matter more than reality. He wrote that rulers must not only govern but also appear to govern with strength, decisiveness, and fortune. A weak prince who appeared strong could survive longer than a strong prince who appeared weak. In the digital arena, this principle multiplies tenfold. The perception of reality becomes more important than reality itself. If the narrative declares you a villain, then in the eyes of the crowd, you are one, regardless of the truth. This is the essence of digital warfare: to seize control of the narrative, to weaponize perception, and to wield information like a blade. Weaponized narratives. Think of the way rumors spread in a small village. A whisper in the marketplace becomes a story by nightfall, and by dawn it becomes truth. Now amplify that by billions. That is the digital village we inhabit. A whisper becomes a headline. A joke becomes a controversy. A single accusation becomes a global scandal. Those who understand the mechanics of virality can launch attacks without firing a shot. They do not need armies, they need only words. They craft narratives designed to trigger emotion, because emotion is the fuel of the digital engine. Outrage spreads faster than reason. Fear spreads faster than calm. Division spreads faster than unity. Thus, the weaponized narrative always targets the emotional core of the audience, bypassing logic and embedding itself directly into belief. Consider the cancel campaign. It does not need to prove guilt, it only needs to create the perception of guilt. The accusation itself is enough to destroy careers, friendships, and reputations. But because in digital warfare, the shadow of suspicion is more lethal than the light of truth. Even if you are vindicated later, the damage is often irreversible. Machiavelli would not be surprised by this. He wrote that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. In digital warfare, to be feared is to have immunity from attack. To be loved is fragile, because love can turn to hate in an instant if the narrative shifts. But to command fear, to create the perception that attacking you is dangerous, grants stability. This is why those who master weaponized narratives rise, and those who neglect them fall. The architecture of digital weapons. How exactly does information become a weapon? There are three key layers. Framing. The way information is presented matters more than the information itself. A story framed as betrayal creates outrage. A story framed as courage creates admiration. The facts may be identical, but the weapon is the frame. Amplification. A weapon is only useful if it reaches its target. In digital warfare, amplification is achieved through platforms, algorithms, and coordinated networks. Bots, influencers, and viral triggers act as catapults, hurling the weaponized narrative into the heart of the public square. Repetition. The more a narrative is repeated, the stronger it becomes. Repetition transforms rumor into truth. The digital world rewards repetition because algorithms push what is engaged with most. Thus, the battlefield itself is rigged to strengthen whatever message is loudest, not necessarily whatever message is truest. Understanding these three layers is essential to survival. If you do not control the frame, someone else will. If you do not master amplification, you will be drowned out. If you do not anticipate repetition, you will be buried beneath it. Why ignorance is defeat? The greatest danger in digital warfare is believing you are not in it. Many people scroll their feeds thinking they are simply consuming content. They believe their opinions are their own, their outrage natural, their loyalty authentic. But if you look deeper, you will see how much of what you believe was carefully placed in front of you, chosen not by you but by the architects of digital weapons. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors those who act boldly. In digital warfare, boldness begins with awareness. You cannot be passive. You must train yourself to see the weapons around you, the narrative crafted to provoke, the headline designed to deceive, the algorithm pushing outrage into your bloodstream. If you do not see them, you will fall victim to them. And in this war, the naive are not just disadvantaged, they are prey. Propaganda in the digital arena. Propaganda is as old as power itself. Every ruler has used it, whether through decrees carved into stone, speeches shouted in the public square, or symbols etched into banners. But today, propaganda has achieved perfection. It no longer needs armies of scribes or heralds. It flows through algorithms designed to maximize your attention. In the digital world, propaganda wears many masks. Sometimes it looks like a harmless meme. Sometimes it appears as satire. Sometimes it disguises itself as journalism. Its strength lies in subtlety. You often don't recognize it as propaganda until it has already shaped your perception. By the time you begin to question it, your mind has already shifted. Machiavelli would see this and nod knowingly. He understood that most people do not seek truth, they seek comfort. They prefer illusions that flatter their beliefs over realities that challenge them. He advised rulers to control appearances, because appearances matter more than substance. This is the very principle propaganda exploits. It feeds people not what is real, but what they want to be real. It gives them a story they are eager to believe, and in believing, they surrender control. The illusion of choice. One of the most powerful aspects of digital propaganda is that it creates the illusion of choice. You scroll through your feed and believe you are choosing what to read, what to like, what to share. But in truth, the battlefield has already been designed. The options presented to you are not neutral, they are selected to steer you. Imagine walking into a marketplace where every stall is controlled by the same merchant. He pretends to offer variety, but everything you buy ultimately fills his purse. This is the digital marketplace of information. You believe you are making independent choices, but the architecture of the platforms ensures that your choices feed the same narrative currents. Machiavelli warned that a prince must appear to grant freedom while subtly guiding his people toward obedience. Digital warfare applies the same tactic. Offer the illusion of freedom while quietly directing the flow of minds. You think you are free, in reality, you are being guided. The crowd as a weapon. Another Machiavellian insight, the crowd is fickle. It can be your greatest ally or your deadliest enemy. In digital warfare, the crowd is weaponized at will. Outrage mobs are not accidental, they are orchestrated. The same outrage that destroys one figure elevates another. The genius of this tactic is that the crowd believes it is acting spontaneously, morally, even heroically. They think they are fighting for justice, when in fact they are being wielded as a weapon by unseen hands. Machiavelli knew that rulers must harness the energy of the people while never becoming dependent on their love. The digital strategist understands the same truth. The crowd is not to be trusted, but it can be directed. A single accusation, a single clip taken out of context, a single phrase framed with malice. This is enough to summon the digital mob. And once it begins, it feeds on itself, multiplying, swelling, and destroying until there is nothing left. To master digital warfare is to know how to summon the mob when it serves you, and how to deflect it when it threatens you. The speed of the digital sword. Another feature of this battlefield, speed. In the old world, rumors took weeks or months to spread across a kingdom. A scandal might take years to gather strength. Today, a scandal can be born, spread globally, and destroy its target within 24 hours. This speed is both a danger and an opportunity. For the unprepared, it is lethal, because the attack comes too quickly to counter. For the Machiavellian strategist, it is fertile ground. You can launch attacks that devastate before your enemy even realizes they are under fire. You can create storms so fast and so overwhelming that resistance becomes impossible. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors those who act decisively. In the age of digital warfare, decisiveness is measured in hours, sometimes minutes. Hesitation is death. Boldness is survival.